Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of On the Mark. I'm your host, Mark Brantley, and let me start by apologizing. We had a brief hiatus, not because we wanted to, but because we had to. Last week, Von Radio had to carry the very important show that was happening, and I, of course, said it's the middle of Culturama. Why have a show and deprive the listening audience of the ability to get access to that show? I think it was the Youth Calypso show, and a very important show here as we come now to the final week of Culturama 51. I want to congratulate all who have been contributing, all who have been attending the shows, all of the contestants. I know some of the shows are already over, and I want to celebrate with the winners, but also to celebrate with all of the participants, their chaperones, their sponsors, and everyone who comes together to make Culturama possible. Huge thanks to the Honorable Eric Evelyn, the Deputy Premier, and the man who has been leading culture. He is Mr. Culture in many respects, and he has led with distinction this particular ministry, and I want to say kudos to him. Culturama, like everything else on this island, there are efforts in some quarters to inject politics. I am happy, however, to say that most divisions are going out, enjoying themselves, ignoring the efforts to drag our cultural festival into a political morass. Nevis is already so small, our culture is already under threat for a number of reasons, and so trying to politicize events, trying to criticize and offer just criticism, no solutions, is really unhelpful. And so for me, Culturama is us, it's all of us, it's what we make it. And for that reason, we are pushing ahead and doing what we can. I am happy that the shows thus far have gone well. I'm told that the attendance has been good. I myself was at the opening and was very impressed with all that I saw and heard and how things were done. And I want to thank the committee and all who have been working day and night to make Culturama possible. This is the first Culturama in many years where Abernathy Liebert has not been at the helm. This year we have Swain Evelyn leading the charge, and so it's, as with everything in life, a handover, and we want to thank Abo for all of his years of contribution. I'm told recently that he is doing a stint now with St. Kitts Carnival, and it's good that they have seen the value in Abernathy, that he's now in a role with them, and I trust and hope that that goes well for him. I also want to thank the good people of St. Kitts and the people from the diaspora, our brothers and sisters who have come and continue to come in large numbers to support Culturama, to support the shows, and to support all that we're seeking to do here on the island of Nevis. May the rest of Culturama be enjoyable. And since I'm talking about Culturama, let me at the top of the show tell you that the Long Jam, which is a perennial Culturama event, a unique event from Gingerland to town, that Long Jam is definitely on this year. It will be happening with Gabriella's Long Jam Posse. Gabriella is saying she's selling a drinks package for $80. You drink all that you can, and you must wear any past Gabriella Long Jam Posse shirt, bodysuit or two-piece set. So any shirt, bodysuit or two-piece set, and they will have Small Axe Band coming down the road. That's the first. That should be interesting to have Small Axe Band, a big band from St. Kitts coming down the road for Long Jam. So the Long Jam Posse, show up in your numbers. Long Jam is definitely on, and Small Axe Band from St. Kitts will be the band entertaining you, rocking you all the way from Gingerland to town. So we certainly look forward to having the bands on the road for Juve, having the bands being a part of Culturama. I know that one band, I think is the Odyssey Band, indicated that they will be boycotting Culturama this year. I have appealed to them publicly to tell them to put aside whatever little issues there may be and do it for the culture and do it for the fans. I'm not sure if they listen to me, but certainly I continue to appeal to everyone to try their best to get involved. At the end of the day, I think that some of our people, all they do is bash. They're negative about everything. If Jesus Christ were to come down again to Nevis, there'll be some who say, give us Barabbas. Give us Barabbas and crucify Jesus. Because sometimes I feel that we unnecessarily, I tell people all the time, that if it is that you're allowing politics to influence what you do and you say, please stop. Please stop. Because some of us are allowing politicians to box bread out of our mouth and they don't have biscuit to give you. I want people to understand that. You're making decisions because you're being influenced by politicians who will tell you hoots, hoots, hoots. But at the end of the day, you're the only ones who are losing. Them who saying hoots, you don't see them when you look behind you, you know. Remind me of the days in school when you hear fight, fight, and you put a little thing on your shoulder and say if you're bad, knock it off. And who telling you to fight when you start to get blows? You look around, you're getting thump in your face, thump in your chest, you look around, you can't find them. Our people need to start to make decisions in their best interests. And stop allowing sometimes people whispering foolishness in your ear and allowing you to act contrary to your best interests. How it is you have a chance to get bread and you're going to let a man tell you don't take the bread and the man can't give you a biscuit. How that makes sense? No wonder sometimes they go home and they laugh and they say, oh, I fooled somebody. We in Navies have to be better than that, and we need to start to see some issues as being above the petty politics. Culturama is one of those. And so I appeal to everybody. Come, contribute, play your part. Things are not always perfect, things are not always rosy. But play your part. This is why I say all the time I have tremendous respect for King this and that, Keith Scarborough, MBE. You know why? I have seen young Calypsonians come into the game. And they go, one show, somebody telling you, song good, you should have win. They cheat you. And they say, then I'll come back because the judges cheat. This and that has been singing for 50 years. 50 years. Whether he win, lose, make finals, don't make finals, come last, come first, he comes back. That is the kind of dedication that we want to see in Navies. Not just for Culturama, but for everything else. Too many of us get into our feelings and our emotion because something does not go 100% the way we want it to go. But what in life goes 100% the way you want it to go? Tell me. Tell me. Your relationship, your marriage, your job, school, your education, your health. Some of us, like me, trying to lose weight. You think things easy. It's not going to go the way you want it to go. Not always. That's just the nature of life. But do you just take up your bat and decide you're going home? Knock down the stump? Because the empire say you're out? We need as a people to rise above it. And I always say that decisions that are based principally on emotion, particular decisions that are encouraged by others who have ill intentions, are usually bad decisions. And the only people who end up being hurt are the ones who are out front, making their mouth the biggest, but ultimately taking decisions that are adverse to their own self-interest. And so I say that, and I move on. Gabriella's Long Jam. Gabriella, if you're listening, you asked me to tell the people about it, and certainly that is where the whole of Gingerland for sure is going to be coming down to town with the Small Axe Band for Gabriella's Long Jam. Gabriella say $80, you get all the drinks, and you just wear something from one of her myriad long jams before. It's a throwback party, it's a vintage party. That's what they're having on the road, and we invite you to be a part of it. And of course we invite all of St. Kitts to come over, all of St. Martin, all of Sabre and Stacia, all of you in the VI and US and British. Come over, be a part. I would have said Anguilla too, but Anguilla is having their own carnival, so I understand. But please come and be a part of our Culturama 51. This is the final furlong we're into now, and we look forward certainly to having a good time. Ladies and gentlemen, let me move past Culturama. I had been cautiously optimistic that the island of Nevis would have been able to, for the first time in nearly 2 decades, been able to achieve no homicides for the year. We had got to the end of July 2025, and the previous homicide that we had was in October of 2024. And so we got to about 9 months or thereabouts, and I really was hopeful that we would get at least a year, because I think just as bad behavior and criminal behavior can become the norm, so too good behavior and upright behavior can become the norm. And we have been going through a period of relative calm and quiet on the island of Nevis, and indeed in the wider Federation. Much kudos and respect to the police for all their efforts, but kudos also to our communities who have responded in a very positive way. I think those who listen to me know that I have said that crime is a social problem. It emanates from us, and therefore the solutions must also come from us. It's a society, the society that breeds crime and criminals, and therefore it is also the society that must come up with those solutions. And so that has been my position for some time, and I'm happy to say that we had a long period, relatively speaking, of calm. That period, unfortunately, was shattered last evening. I got the very sad news initially that a young man appeared to have died from an accident from a scooter, and only afterwards it was confirmed that it was in fact a homicide. I am urging those out there who may have information, please, to get in touch with our police. If we as a society truly want to rid ourselves of the cancer of crime, then we have to play our part. And your part might be telling the police what you know, what you saw, what you heard. That might be your part in ridding this island and this country of this cancer of crime. And so I urge you, if you have information, please to contact the police. Your information will be treated confidentially as always. Let me take a moment to express my condolences to those who are left to mourn this young man. It's another young life cut short. I'm told that he's from St. Kitts, but like many Kittitians, he has family right here in Nevis. And I want to extend my condolences to his family, the Doe family, the Liebert family. I want to extend condolences to my own colleagues in cabinet, Mr. Stedman Truss and the Honorable Troy Liebert, who are related to this young man. And I just really want us as a community to bind ourselves together. I know we have differences. I know sometimes those differences seem to be what we emphasize. But there are more things that unite us than divide us on the island of Nevis. There are far more things that unite us than divide us on the island of Nevis. And we have, on issues such as safety and security, speak with one voice. We have to be of one accord. And so I certainly encourage you, if you have information, please share it. And I express my heartfelt condolences to those who are left to mourn. And I'm hopeful, I'm prayerful that these types of tragedies do not continue to occur in our beautiful country, our land of beauty where peace abounds. And so let us pray together, work together, and ensure that we try to get past some of those issues that continue to bedevil us. Ladies and gentlemen, this is On the Mark, and we are, of course, the usual pattern of the show is to put a few things on the table, and then once those few things are on the table, we open the lines and we take your calls, as always here at Vaughan Radio, where we say, because we mean it, only the best will do. The standards are very high, and so we always urge listeners, when you pick up your phone to call, please ensure that we are respectful. That is important because your voice is going out to the world. It is a privilege to be on the radio station here at Vaughan Radio. Let us not take it for granted. And when you call, you come through this platform and you reach the world. There are people all across the world who are listening. People all across this Caribbean Sea, people in the United States and Canada, people in the United Kingdom, people all over listen to this show. And so when you call, please understand that you are on a big stage, a major platform, a platform that we have built painstakingly for 2 decades, and a platform, therefore, that, if nothing else, demands that we respect each other, and that the conversations that we have with each other enlighten each other, but also enlighten those who are listening. We recognize that not everybody who listens calls in, but I want this show to be a standard where people go away feeling I was part of something good. Even where there were differences, the debate was intellectually stimulating, the viewpoints were understandable, and we had a show befitting of the intellectual capacity for which the people of Nevis are well known. Don't call in here and behave as if you never went to school, because everybody in Nevis went to school. Nevis boasts a near 100% literacy rate. So let us, in our speech, in our expressions, in the way that we engage with each other, demonstrate that. We live in a democracy. We will never all agree. And that's fine. I tell people all the time, I have no quarrel with anybody who say that their philosophy is this or that. At the end of the day, I'm a politician, and in politics, there's a little thing called an election. And when elections come, that is when those different philosophies are tested. The people vote, and once the people have voted, their voice is the voice of God. And so I don't concern myself too much with the roar and the people making plenty noise. Because in my own experience, those who make the most noise tend to be the barrels that have nothing in them. The old old saying that empty barrels make the most noise, that's quite the case. So, at this stage, we are halfway through a term. We have another 2.5 to 3 years before we get into an election. Let us focus on substantive issues. Issues that really matter. How we can build this island, make this island better. And if we are to criticize, then let that criticism be constructive. I don't like how you're doing. I think you can do it better. This is what I suggest. Criticism just for the sake of criticism is useless. Telling a man his pants is ugly. Color don't suit him. Okay, you may hurt his feelings. You may cause others to laugh at him. But how does that help the man? That is sometimes the shortcoming. Because all of us are full of ability to criticize. That's easy. Solutions, no. That's a different matter. That's a horse of a different color. So we must move beyond just telling a man that pants ugly to telling a man, don't like that pants, I suggest this pants instead. That color don't look good on you, this color would look good on you. But too often we stop at the criticism. And then you hear foolishness being said, well, I'm in opposition, so I shouldn't offer any ideas. Well, without ideas, how do people know whether they can trust you in government, whether you have the capacity in government to deliver anything for them? I've heard opposition people say, I'm not giving the government any ideas. What does that mean? You're not giving the government any ideas. When I was in opposition, the biggest compliment to me was if I said something and the government responded positively to what I said. The biggest compliment to me as a parliamentarian is when I go into parliament and I rise up and make my submissions based on a bill and the bill is changed. Because the wisdom of what I have said has persuaded them to change the bill. That is what I talk when I say constructive criticism. That's what I mean. And so it takes me to my main topic this evening. And that is this issue of fair share between St. Kitts and Nevis in terms of the resources that come into our country and how those resources are allocated. And I have been amused and bemused at who the people are who now seem to be captivated by this language of fair share and who are taken to every possible media, whether it's on social media or the radio stations, to talk about fair share. Now let me remind Nevisians, because some of us choose to forget, why this issue became topical. We had a situation where the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, led by Prime Minister Douglas, which had sitting with them from 2010 the Nevis Reformation Party, led by Joseph Parry, in the federal parliament, in the person of Patrice Nisbet, my friend Patrice Nisbet. And during that period of time, hundreds of millions of dollars rolled into Bastille from our citizenship by investment program. We, the people of Nevis, were by and large excluded from any benefits that flowed from those hundreds of millions of dollars. Passports were being negotiated. We had the SIDF. It even prompted King Bingi to do the famous song, "We Want We SIDF Money." I hope Nivisions remember that song. That came about because there was a feeling on the island of Nevis, and legitimately so, that our passport, our patrimony, a document which says St. Christopher and Nevis, was being negotiated. Money was pouring into Bastia, and not a penny was making its way over to the island of Nevis. The NRP at the time was in the leadership of the Nevis Island Administration. Joseph Walcott Parry, self-styled jungle warrior, was the premier. And the NRP was at the same time in the federal government in partnership and coalition with the Labour Party in the person of Patrice Nisbet. That was the position. NRP was in office in Nevis from 2006 until 2011, and then they teeth another 18 months until 2013 when they were cast out. So from 2010 until 2013, for 3 years, they were in office in Bastia. What happened during that time, ladies and gentlemen? And we're going to talk some things tonight, because some people now seeking to act as if they're brand new, that the people of Nevis just woke up yesterday and that we don't know them and know who they are and what they did when they were in positions of trust in this country. And so I'm going to recount a few things which are factual. I've been on this program for 20 years. Nobody ever sued me yet, and that is because I speak truth. You recall that in opposition then, the CCM made the claim, justifiably so, that Nevis was not benefiting from the CBI money. That whenever Nevis got a pittance that came over, there was a 4-letter word attached to whatever Nevis got. And that 4-letter word was L-O-A-N, loan. Now I want the people of Nevis to just pause for a moment. And I don't care who you support. That is not relevant right now. If you are a Nevisian, and you are really a Nevisian, who loves this island called Nevis, reflect for me that your passport is being bargained, negotiated, monies in the hundreds of millions of dollars pouring in. And whenever the island of Nevis got a penny, it was said to be a loan. L-O-A-N. So, put differently, Nevis was borrowing its own money. And that is the NRP Premier at the local level and NRP at the federal level. Borrowing our own money. In fact, I will remind Nevisians that we had a shameful incident where some $4 million came from the SIDF. Passport CBI money. It did not come to the Nevis Treasury in the normal course. No, it went to the Craft House. And from the Craft House, it is said that that money was used to pay the Yarwoods for the airport lands. An airport, I remind everybody, that had been in use by the people of Nevis before Noah built the ark. But an election was nigh, and all of a sudden this $4 million made its way through this rather circuitous route They didn't send it over on the boat. It took a rubber dinghy, went around Nag's Head twice. Then wash ashore somewhere, somebody went in the water, take it to the Craft House. $4 million. Since when the Craft House has dealings with SIDF? Since when the Craft House is collecting money to pay for land? This is not some Nancy story, you know. This is what happened in this country under NRP. So, this $4 million, which I reasonably believe was campaign money, came, it was said, to pay for land. But you know what was even more shameful? I wonder if the people of Nevis know that the Vance Amory International Airport was mortgaged by the NRP to secure the $4 million that came from the SIDF. Mortgaged our airport as security for $4 million that came via rubber dinghy round Nag's Head twice, wash ashore, end up in the Craft House for payment, they say, for lands at the airport. And our airport, Vance Amory International, was mortgaged to secure that $4 million. Nevis was borrowing money from the SIDF to fund anything that was going on in Nevis. And that $4 million, well, that's up to you to determine where that $4 million ended up. But that was the reality. We, the CCM, we said, no, these things can't be right. The money that is flowing in from citizenship by investment is not Sinkit's money. There's no passport that says the island of St. Christopher solely on it. When Canada imposed their visa restrictions, Canada did not say, well, Sinkit's only you benefiting, so only people from Sinkit's need visa to come Canada. Canada said, Tut Mun Saman Bagay. Whether you're from Henley Part, River Part, Butlers, Brick Hill, or you're from Keon, Tabernacle, Sandy Point, or Conyers, Tut Mun Saman Bagay no need a visa to come Canada. They didn't pick out and say, well, Nevis, you know, I get nothing out of it, so we're going to spare you. No. The island of Nevis and the people of Nevis had to bear the full pressure. Well, if you're going to ask me to bear pressure with you, you don't think I should get something out of the benefits too? And so CCM took up this cause. It is a cause that is as old as Nevis itself, because we have always said in this relationship, Nevis has never got a fair shake. I did not make that up. I come here, born here, hearing it being said. People say Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw, first national hero, saying going to get Nivision's bones in the rice and Anguillan's pepper in the soup. I don't know where it is recorded. Some say it was never recorded. Some argue it was never said. But since we were little children, on our mother's knees, we were told that that is the way that this relationship has been. So people shouldn't act brand new. And I have a difficulty with some seeking now for political convenience to forget the Nevis Reformation Party. Let me go back to them. They were formed for one reason only, and that was to defeat Labour. They ran on a manifesto which says secession at all cost. But now you hear them as if they're forgotten from whence they came and what their purpose was. And why were they arguing secession at all cost? They were arguing secession at all costs for the same reason. In the 60s and 70s and 80s, they were arguing secession because they were claiming that we were not getting a fair share. The language of fair share might be new, but the sentiment is as old as Mount Nevis. So, ladies and gentlemen, we in CCM championed the idea, the view that fairness in the country is critical if the country is to move forward as one. We champion that idea. And CCM has always demonstrated that it is standing with the people of Nevis. The NRP was in a position. They control the NIA and they were in the federal government. And I don't know if Nigerians remember, but I remember very well. Because after 2013, when the NIA changed to the CCM, we got rid of them and cast them out, the relationship with the then Denzel Douglas-led government in Sinkis was hostile because Douglas was in bed with NRP. Patrice was in cabinet with Douglas. And I remember like yesterday, the Honorable Vance Emery of blessed memory was leading the cabinet. It was a Wednesday. We were up at Bath Hotel when the news came that the civil servants' checks for Nevis had been bounced by the National Bank. We're going to go down memory lane today, tonight, because some of us are pretending that we can't remember. Our checks were bounced. They didn't say bounce CCM supporters checks, they bounce everybody check. So if you happen to be voting NRP, you check their bounce too. All of us were there and our phones were going off. People are saying, I go to the bank, there's no money. Poor people work hard all month, need their money to pay their bills, send their children to school. Pay the electricity bill, pay the water bill, pay the cable bill, pay the phone bill, buy food. Checks were bounced. And the NRP was up and down crowing like Christmas come. Let them take that. Let me see how they're going to deal with that now. Because they use the federal power that they had to try to apply pressure to the Nevis Island administration. I do not believe that there has been any single act as traitorous as that act when the checks of the people of Nevis were bounced. That's what happened. All right. We move forward. We who are the architects of Team Unity put it together. And a document emerged called the Charleston Accord. I know the document well because I was the one who wrote the document. And that Charleston Accord document was put together. There's a young man here in Nevis called Timothy Keynes. He worked with me at the time. We put that together and a signing was arranged on the courthouse steps in Charleston. And what was the Charleston Accord? The Charleston Accord set out a blueprint for how these three parties, People's Action Movement, People's Labour Party, a new party, and the Sons and Citizens Movement would govern. It was the first time in the political history of the CCM that it had sought to enter into any coalition arrangement with anybody from St. Kitts. And we made that arrangement clear before an election. We went to the courthouse steps, a document that I drafted called the Charleston Accord. One of the things that that document provided for was to say that there would now be a fair share for the people of Nevis of the CBI money. I have traced the history of this issue. It has bedeviled this federation in terms of the lopsided allocation of resources from time immemorial. That document made that provision that this fair share arrangement would be put in effect. I was not the leader of CCM at the time. The Honorable Vance Emery of blessed memory was. We went on, we got into government in 2015. The Honorable Emery remained leader of CCM until 2017 when leadership changed to me. And he remained in the national cabinet, federal cabinet, and parliament until 2020 when the Honorable Eric Evelyn took over that seat from him. During the time when we got in, for the first time, Nevis started to get something. I think it started out at about $2 million a month. When I became Premier in 2017, I said, no, this $2 million a month thing, you have to do better than that. And I was able to move that figure during that time, between 2017 and 2022, from $2 million up to the $5.5 million per month. That is now the contribution that Nevis gets. But I never, even during that time, lost sight of the commitment that had been made that we would get a fair share for the island of Nevis. Some may look on and say, oh, as Timothy Harris ultimately did, "Ah, you get all this money, why I make noise for? Are you greedy? Are you greedy?" But I tell people all the time, I don't know and can't speak for anybody else. But I started out school in Chapel School, Gingerland. I went to the Joyceland Library when it first opened. I moved to Brownhill. I had teachers like Joyceland Library. I had teachers like Teacher Marion. I had teachers like Charmaine Hanley. I came down to Brownhill. I had people in that school. Teacher Ivor Walters, head teacher. Teacher Elmo Liebert. I went to Charlestown. We had strong leadership there. Christine Springett, Don Wilkin, a host of others. I say all that. I want to associate myself with all of them people, you know, because I say all that to say this. Me no went to school on Saturday. I went to school Monday to Friday, and I was taught by bright people, sensible people, and I listened to teacher. I paid attention. So I can read, write, and arithmetic very well. So you telling me that I being greedy, and I get this and me no used to get nothing. What Nevis people I make nice for, them I used to get nothing, now them I get something. That was not the deal. And when it was that Nevis was getting what we were getting, and everybody was saying, oh, Nevis I get money, St. Kitts was raking in $600 and $700 million a year. So that when we did the math over the course of the Douglas period from about 2010 and including the Unity period, which ended abruptly in 2022, we were able to say to the people of the country that over $5 billion had come into the country. That's billion with a B. $5 billion had come into the country. And of that $5 billion, Nevis had got about 400 million. Well, based on the analysis that we did, Nevis was getting about 8%. St. Kitts was getting 92%. And so I said, do not be telling me that I ought to be grateful with 8% because that is not a fair share. I have nearly 1/3 of the population living in Nevis. I think the last census said we have about 26, 27%. So how are you going to give me 8% of the money and you keep 92? And I'm sitting in a government with you where fair share was promised. We said this was the basis on which we would govern, and I said no. And I started to agitate. I started to make noise. And some in St. Kitts didn't like the fact that I was making noise. And so they started the undermining. They started to support NRP. Send money over. Send support over to NRP. Because they wanted a division, party or politician that would tell them what they want to hear and be in bed with them. And they realized that in NRP, they had seen the relationship with Dr. Denzel Douglas during his tenure and realized that where NRP is concerned is whoever is the highest bidder, whatever song play NRP willing to dance. NRP was formed to fight labor. NRP in 1980-81 joined with PAM to put Labour into the wilderness. 1993, NRP joined with PAM again to keep Labour in the wilderness. And then by 2010, NRP was now with Labour. Then no. By the time I start to agitate from inside Unity and say, hey, no. This interim payment has been going on since 2015. It is time that we settle this matter. This was a fundamental basis on which the CCM party got into this coalition. The people of Nevis are demanding that this issue be settled. Next thing I know, Cataflam NRP in bed with Timothy and PLP. That is the cold hard truth of the matter. So I can tell you tonight that NRP has been in bed with every political party in St. Kitts. And I assure you, if a new party emerges tomorrow, they're going to find a way too. Once there's benefit in it for those who are in the leadership of the NRP. Because never for a moment you think that $4 million that went to Craft House, some of them didn't benefit from it. Never for a minute think that. That is what we have had to deal with here. Now, when I started to agitate, even from within Team Unity, I said, no, this is not good enough. We sat on the courthouse steps and Vance Amry, Sean Richards and Timothy Harris signed a document promising the people of Nevis certain things. It is on the strength of that document that Timothy Harris, with one seat, was given the prime ministership. And he later turned around and cussed the document and said, what he share, what Charleston or card them a talk about. Because you see, like my favorite Shakespearean play, Julius Caesar. They talk about lowliness being young ambition's ladder, whereto the climber upward turns his face. But when he once attains the upmost round, he then unto the ladder turns his back, scorning the base degrees by which he did ascend. And that was Timothy. Timothy used the Charleston Accord to get the big cheer, and then he turned around and cursed it because he did not want to give the people of Nevis their share. And I'm waiting patiently, you know. I'm waiting patiently because I still have the clips. Them only want before I be money. Them greedy. That was the kind of vitriol towards the people of Nevis from a man who claimed his father is from Nevis. All now I'm still saying I need to see the DNA. Because I don't believe any division could produce somebody who hate Nevis so much. But when I started to fight and CCM started to fight and said no, and we will fight even a government that we are in government with for the people of Nevis, I want us all to be cognizant of the fact that the NRP in Nevis never once uttered a word in support. In fact, to the contrary, the NRP parroted whatever Tim Harris was saying in St. Kitts. That's what they did. All of a sudden, Tim said, oh, Mark Brantley's a bad spender. Where the money gone? What they do with the money? And NRP put a bark and a billboard in here. As a matter of fact, they have them up all now. What happened to the 500 million? What happened to the money from Nevis that Nevis get? Oh, they waste the money. Where the money? I remember one of their candidates went on a platform and she said, what fear share them telling me about? That's a fake argument. I hope I remember, you know. I want you all to remember that's a fake argument, was what this individual said when we were seeking as Nevisians to push this issue. The Timothy Harris, who they were parroting, went on his platform in St. Kitts. You know what he said? Every dollar me send to Nevis is $1 less for St. Kitts. You all remember those things? Said by a man who signed a document committing himself to a particular course of action and then reneged after he had got what he wanted. The NRP refused to support that call for a fair share for Nevis. Mind you, I never said a fair share for Mark Brantley. I didn't say a fair share for CCM, a fair share for Nevis. Timothy then, to kick the can down the road, because that is his nature, he said he gonna get the World Bank involved to advise. And I took issue with it. You know why I took issue with it, ladies and gentlemen? Because the Charleston Accord written by me had in it a formula. It said that it would be based on population. But that's an easy matter. If St. Kitts has 30,000 people and Nevis has 15,000 people, well, you work out the math. And that is why I said on record that a sixth form math student could work it out. But I always understood that it was time. That's what it was. Timothy Harris was buying time. Because whilst he was saying to Nevis, oh, we have the World Bank looking at it and we're going to pay you interim. He was doing everything in his power to undermine the CCM to get a more compliant party in Nevis to do his bidding. That's what was going on. Well, the government collapsed in 2022. And a new government took the helm in St. Kitts. Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew. I think they call himself Next Gen or something. New generation of politicians. Young man. Came in. And within his first week in office, I was afforded the courtesy of meeting with him. And he looked at me and I looked at him. I didn't know him. We had only met briefly. I recall we met at a funeral in the pew. We sat in the same pew. And he looked at me and I looked at him and we said, listen, where we can find common ground, we will work together. Because at the end of the day, we need to move this country forward. And he and I have sought to work together on a number of issues, geothermal being one, national security being another. He, at some point, indicated that this fair share story, that he was having the World Bank look at the matter. Now, I've had these criticisms now leveled at me, and I'm saying to myself, you know what is interesting with our people? The man who promised the people of Nevis fair share was not Prime Minister Drew, you know. The man who signed on the Charleston steps was not Prime Minister Drew, you know. That was a different Prime Minister. And therefore, those commitments that were made which catapulted him, that Prime Minister, Timothy Harris, into the chair. The big chair. I've recounted this story a lot of times where a regional leader asked me, boy, Mark, you all really give a man with one seat the big chair? And I said, that is what we agreed. That Charleston Accord. So we had a man who signed on the dotted line, committing himself to a course of action, then reneged from that course of action. Well, Drew never signed nothing. I couldn't go and start to say to Drew with the same level of agitation that I did to Timothy that this is what was agreed, because Drew never agreed with Nevis, with me, with any political party to anything. And so my approach with Dr. Drew has been, let us engage, let us see what we can achieve. And he said to me that he had asked the World Bank. Well, nothing I could do about that. If he has asked the World Bank, he ain't promised me nothing, and he said that's the road on which he wants to go, what am I to do? I said, fine. You've asked the World Bank. I still do not think the World Bank is necessary, but if you've asked the World Bank, you've asked the World Bank. And the World Bank has now come back with a report to the Prime Minister, Terence Drew. Is Prime Minister Drew asked for the report, not me? Prime Minister Drew then, at some point, shared the report with me in confidence and said, I'm sharing the report with you so that you and your team can evaluate, and then we can have a joint discussion. That was the position. I am now hearing, in this year of our Lord 2025, a whole bunch of hullabaloo. And the thing that really I find irksome is that the NRP in Nevis now is the party making the most noise about fair share. A fake argument. They bring poor Joe, jungle warrior, out of retirement. I don't tell my cousin, Joseph Perry, he like to say we're family. I said, Joe, don't let nobody dress you up. Put on your Sunday hard shoe and talk about you going on radio and television for no politics. You're retired now. Be a statesman. Stay above the fray. Joe, when you were the jungle warrior, and you're not the jungle warrior anymore, you get the licking of your lifetime. You get so much blows as a jungle warrior that you run out of politics. Run out and ask Spoke Leon to come in to replace you. You couldn't take the heat. So why now, Joe, are you allowing these people to dress you up and tell you Bogo talk and radio and things like that? So somebody sent me something today. And here is the former premier, the man who presided over $4 million coming through the Craft House. The man who took loans and mortgaged the Van Samry Airport to the SIDF. Say, fair share is a political gimmick. It's not a genuine division cause. Well, let me ask the question rhetorically. If the CCM succeeds in getting a fair share for Nevis, and the government were to change in Nevis tomorrow, wouldn't the new government benefit from that arrangement? Sometimes the way I hear these people talking, it's like they feel that Mark Brantley going home with the money, you know. I'm not going home with the money. Whatever it is my salary prescribed by the parliament is what I go home with, not a penny more. So, now, fair share gone from being a political, a fake argument. That's what one of their candidates said. To no less a man than the former premier now, dress him up, send him out today, go say that it is a political gimmick. What that tells me, ladies and gentlemen, is that this NRP still does not understand that if it is a party rooted in Nevis, seeking the support of the people of Nevis, then it has to champion the causes that are important to the people of Nevis. But I am not surprised of some of the things I'm hearing now, you know, because I am gathering my information because I will want to come back in due course to talk about a certain loan at a financial institution that was made to the NRP for their political campaign purposes. And I would want to ask the question and put it out now into the atmosphere. How was that loan, which I'm told was in the region of $1.7 million, how was that loan forgiven? You hear the word? Forgiven. Who made the call to that financial institution and directed them to write off that $1.7 million loan? And what did NRP give in exchange? You know one thing I am proud of, ladies and gentlemen? At the end of the day, people may like me, people may not dislike me, but I'll tell you one thing, and I say so with no water in my mouth. Nobody owns me. Nobody owns CCM. We have not been in any kind of deals where we have to beholden and be beholden to somebody. I have said publicly, and I'm proud to say it, we have never, certainly under my leadership, and certainly during my time in CCM that I'm aware of, got any support or succor, any assistance, financial or otherwise, from any political party and St. Kitts. Never. I see that as a badge of honor. What I see that as is that when I stand up and I speak for Nevis, I can speak. I don't need to worry about who forgave my $1.7 million debt at the bank. I don't need to worry about that. I can speak because I have the freedom to speak for and on behalf of the people of Nevis without let or hindrance. Like me or not like me, nobody own me. I could tell you that. So I hear some of them now singing lustily. They're singing lustily. And I saying, boy, that's supper. Eh? Because if you had a debt of 1.7 million and somebody say, poof, poof, the debt gone. Well, I would sing too. I would sing too. And so when you hear some of them, slowly we're going to peel back the onion. We're going to peel back the onion. And you're going to start to get a sense that these people are sellouts. They are sellouts to the people of Nevis. Whoever is the highest bidder in Bastia, whoever it is that is prepared to give, not Nevis, because fair share is a Nevis issue, to give the party and to give the individuals in the party money. That is the ship that they're on. And I'm saying it, ladies and gentlemen, and it may offend some people, but I'm saying it because it is factual. I tell you, I'm going to come back because I'm gathering my information. Like when I come, you know, I come with my grip. When I open the grip on that $1.7 million, I want to talk about it because that debt was forgiven. And the forgiveness of that debt, the writing off of that debt, the poofing away of that debt, bought the NRP, lock, stock and barrel, paid for them. So you think they could say anything different now to what the puppet master in Sinkis is telling them to say? The puppet master in Sinkis is trying to do everything in his power to get rid of Mark Brantley. Not because Mark Brantley is a bad person. Trying to get rid of Mark Brantley because Mark Brantley is strong and stands up for the people of Nevis. And for some, no, that's not the kind of leader we want in Nevis. We want a leader in Nevis. When we tell them jump, they ask how high. And that's what they hope that they're going to get in the NRP. So Mr. Parry, if you're listening, take your retirement seriously. Because if you take up your gloves and you put them back on, I hope that you will deal with the consequences of so doing. It is not a threat. It is me saying out of respect. When you were in the ring, you get knocked out. You get knocked out so bad that you retired hurt. Stay out of the thing. Leave them who now coming to fight their cause, because we will deal with them. And that is my simple, respectful advice. But don't have one foot on the river and one in the bank. One in the river, one on the bank. No, no, no. Right? And don't let nobody dress you up and send you out. You're too important a figure in Nevis. And Nevis is history to act as any messenger for anybody now. Right? That debt forgiveness could not have been such that so many people are now towing the line. No, no, no. I hope that tonight I have shed a little light, because I hear all this noise being made. People who never once supported the idea of the people of Nevis getting a fair share, all of a sudden this is their number one topic. And I hear the further argument being advanced by some. Mark Brantley should release the report. Mark Brantley should give the press the report. But it is not my report. The Prime Minister asked for a report. The Prime Minister got that report. The Prime Minister shared that report with me in confidence for me and my team to evaluate. Now, how could I, in breach of that confidence, release it to the press? If anybody is to release that report to the press, it could only be the Prime Minister. It is his report. It is not my report. I never spoke to the World Bank. I never requested anything from the World Bank. If I had my way, I would not have involved the World Bank at all. I would have simply said, hey, we know how much money coming in. Take out the expenses. This is the population. This is the population sinkets. Divide the money. Easy like that. But the World Bank was involved. A report was had. The report was not commissioned by me. It was not commissioned by the NIA. So I don't understand this talking point that, oh, Mark Brantley, he need to do this, he need to do that. Mark Brantley doesn't need to do anything but continue to fight for the people of Nevis. And I hope that when the history of this island is written, if I only warrant a footnote, that footnote would say he stood up for the people of Nevis, even when it was not popular, and even when you had other people who were willing to lie down, willing to roll over. CCM stood up for the people of Nevis. That is our hallmark, and of that legacy I am proud. And whatever else may happen in this, whatever is left of my political life, I can say here tonight before God and man that my commitment to the people of Nevis to fight for them remains resolute. I'm older now, a little wiser now, a little more knowledgeable now, but my commitment remains resolute that nobody gonna fool Nevis people so long as I'm around, because we never went Saturday school. We went school Monday to Friday, and we were taught by some brilliant people. Let me leave it there and open the lines. 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. Those are the numbers to call if you want to be a part of the show tonight. If you want to challenge anything I've said, if you want to add to anything I've said, hey, this is the time. It's Culturama, but some of these issues are important enough that we need to address them. Let's go to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Well, Sheriff, good night.
How are you, my dear?
Your talk.
I don't talk now.
How
Your
are
turn
you
to
tonight?
talk. I'm fine. Your turn to talk.
Psalm 23. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Have a good evening.
Thank
and
you.
Enjoy your Culturama.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the scripture. Enjoy your Culturama as well. And you always lead us off. Great psalm to lead us off. So thank you very much for that. And we continue to take the calls. 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. Those are the numbers to call if you want to be a part of the show, and if you want to have your views aired and have a discussion on anything I've said, or for that matter, if you have a topic of your own that you would want to introduce, I invite you to call in. I just want to say, ladies and gentlemen, that going back for the moment on this issue of fair share for Nevis, it is not a fake argument. It is not a political gimmick. And the sooner the NRP recognizes that this is an issue that speaks to the values of the people of Nevis, the better it will be for us all. These are the types of issues where Nevisians should be singing one voice. One voice. Not undermining. Imagine Timothy Harris start the story. Oh, Mark is a bad spender. What you do with the money? What you do with the money? Where the money gone? NRP lap it up, because that was the talking point that they were given. So the 1.7 million debt forgiveness came with conditions. You must say what I tell you to say. So they lap it up. I'll come back to that. Let me go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark. Hello?
Good night, ma'am.
Good evening, you're on the air.
Good program.
Thank you.
Okay, if the Thomas got to come on stream, you already start to work out how the revenue will be shared between the NIA and the federal government?
Caller, you know, I believe that you were a fly on the wall today, no?
No.
Because I'm saying that jokingly, because we had a joint cabinet meeting today, and that very issue came up. So we're putting teams together to discuss that issue in terms of just how we're going to approach geothermal, because we expect, of course, that the bids for the drilling would have been evaluated, and that we expect an announcement, or recommendation, I should say, from the bid committee, the bid evaluation committee, any minute now, because they should have finished their evaluation the end of July. And I believe, what, today or tomorrow is the end of July? Tomorrow. So just today, the issue was discussed between the federal cabinet and us, the NIA, about putting a framework in place. So I'll be in a position to say more about that in the next few weeks, but at this time the matter is under discussion. There is no agreement in place.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Thank you very much. It's 5 minutes past here of 9 o'clock, and we're taking your calls again, 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. Now, let me go back to the narrative of nothing happening in Nevis. You know, they say that sometimes when there are difficulties, when there are issues, remember two things, God and time. I remember trying to respond to the barrage of attacks that came from Sinkits and pirated by those who had been purchased for $1.7 million in Nevis. And the attacks were all about nothing happening in Nevis and where the money gone. And God and time. Because I have been able to sit down in the National Parliament and listen to the Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Terence Drew. Listen to the Honorable Congress Maynard and hear them speak about how far ahead Nevis has jumped. Because when there was some, for political reasons, asking what we do with the money, we were investing in water, we were investing in electricity, we're investing in water taxi facility. We're investing in police and fire station in Newcastle. We're investing in roads all across this country. We're investing up at our hospital, healthcare, new ambulances, new machinery, new equipment, new doctors, new specialists. We were investing in the new Treasury building. We're investing in the Mondo track. We're investing in CCTV across the island, CCTV command center. We were investing and investing and investing to the point where in 2025, water doesn't go off in Nevis anymore, you know. Thing of the past. If water go off in Nevis right now, you know there's a problem. Some difficulty, some burst line or something of that nature. We have, in the last few years, while we were told that we were squandering the resources, we have spent somewhere in the region of $50 million on water upgrades on the island of Nevis. And we're still spending because now we're drilling new wells. Where the money gone? It went into ensuring that when Nevis people turn on the pipe, they have water. That water doesn't go off 9 o'clock in Nevis. That every part of Nevis has water 24/7. That when people build their homes and we're encouraging young people to build, that they know they can get a water connection. They can get an electricity connection. That the days of rolling blackouts and load shedding and all of those, unless there is some problem, those days are behind us. Well, you all think that came about by chance? That came about because we were investing in the sustainability of the island of Nevis. Now, if you're asking me what I did with $500 million, and you have people in Nevis foolish enough to start to say the same thing, or what I do with that money? Well, I am entitled to ask Dr. Harris what you did with $5 billion in Sinkits. I get 500 million, you ask me what happened to my money. Well, what you did with 5 billion? Because when you left office, Cairn no got no water, you know? Monkey Hill no got no water. Water 24/7, got electricity 24/7. The investments are there to be seen. And it bothers me that people in Nevis were so blinded by the fact that a man could make a debt go poof and disappear, that they start to echo the same foolish sentiments and were willing to oppose the Nevisian cry that we must get a fair share in the country. And I am not seeking tonight to offend anybody, you know. I am just calling a spade and saying that the people of Nevis would have heard and seen for themselves who are willing to stand up for them and with them and who are willing to stand against them. And that is why it is no surprise that election result after election result, same thing, CCM again. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Premier Brantley, good night.
Good night to you.
And good night to all the listeners. Premier Brantley, before me get to your topic, let me thank you for the rebroadcast.
You're welcome. I had a lot of people asking for it, so I thought it was a good thing to do, you know?
Yeah. And
well, caller, I must share one thing with you, though.
Go
a
ahead.
lady said to me that she didn't realize it was a rebroadcast. So the next morning, she was calling to make an appointment to see the doctor. so sometimes, you know, the thing don't work out how you would like it to work out. But anyway. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so she shops herself then. That means she not listening.
No, she didn't listen.
Yeah. Anyway, because of the rebroadcast, we get somebody to find out that one radio station named Van Radio. Never hear about Van Radio in the entire life. Because they're my TV personality.
Okay.
Right. So tell me about me get one listener to your radio station. I'll have Van Radio around so long.
All right. Good to know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Let me you hear about the poll with from St. Kitts Davis that Dr. Harris are the most preferred leadership.
Yeah, I saw some news about a poll, yes.
Okay. So me tell you not get down pan heat too heavy because if the poll work out right, you go come right back now that you have to go work with it.
Well, you know, that may be the case, but I remember the last election, 2022, I believe, one newspaper had a headline saying who gonna form the next government. And when the results, they said the polls were saying the same thing in 2022. But when the votes were counted, Timothy Harris had a duo, he became a solo.
Okay. Okay. Today, on Freedom,
yes,
the Attorney General, Gap, Wilkins, you hear in June today?
No, I did not.
Well, I met about the face sheet. And according to the Constitution, well, they said the face sheet never worked to St. Kitts and Nevis. And even this last one year, plenty work still have to go do with this one here because I still have to go work out what the CIB money actually be.
But why you think that we got to work that out? You don't think that St. Kitts know how much money coming in from citizenship?
No. No. I have to work them out because remember the fair share are taxes and so forth and so.
No. But I'm asking because remember this argument came out. If you're listening tonight, I would have started to trace it.
No, me just join in.
Okay, okay.
Because of culture, I'm
all right. Well, you missed the earlier part because I was tracing the history. And to say that even we had a major calypso here called We Want to SIDF Money. Done by King Bingi. That was all part of the Nivision cry for a fair share of the CBI receipts. Right?
Yeah.
And that CBI money has been, for the last 15 years, pouring into Bastia to the tune of billions of dollars. And so that really was why we were having that debate at the time. And the Charleston Accord that was signed by Timothy Harris, Sean Richards, and Vance Amry specifically made reference to that fair share, that Nevis would get a percentage of the CBI money based on population. It made that provision. That was in let me see if I can recall correctly, 2013 when we signed that agreement.
But according to what Gap said today, and it can't work like what you did say.
Why it can't work like that?
No, Gap said the Constitution for that, you know, you and the Prime Minister are going to have to go before the Governor General and make one decision what the money actually be. I have to go make one assessment and say what the money are going to be actually be. If I go be taxes, if I go be whatever the case may be. And from there on now, I can make one something, you know, forget the face here.
Well, if that is the view that was expressed, that is the view. I don't know how I can address that. I believe that these are matters which, at the end of the day, people will have different viewpoints. We'll just have to see where that goes.
Yes, but you call and go on freedom. Go back on freedom today. This afternoon, me and get the assessment. Make go call you back.
Okay, all right, brother. Thank you very much for that.
All right.
And I'm grateful for the call as always. And thank you for spreading the news about that particular show with pulmonologist Dr. George, who was here. Really did an excellent job. I want to again thank Ursula Phillip, who normally listens to the show. So Ursula, if you're listening there in Villarica, I want to say good evening to you and the entire family. Ursula has really done a tremendous service to the people of Nevis, the country of her ancestry. Her mother was born here, and related to, of course, the Libuds in Brownhill, and she really has continued in her mother's footsteps and arranged for specialists to come. And I commend, of course, our Minister of Health, the Honorable Janelle Nisbet, and her PS, Shalisa Clark, and Shalisa Martin, and the entire team, because they have really worked hard in bringing specialists to us, people that we could not have on salary, people we can't afford to have on staff, but who have come. And the thing that I liked about Dr. George came, and you know, Dr. George did not charge a penny. So he saw, I think, just over 80 people. Many of them got supplies from him. They got tested, they were assisted, and there was not 1 cent that people had to pay. I mean, that is just extraordinary. I want to also thank Four Seasons, because they have been partnering with us on these initiatives. And this is all about an effort to help people. In government, our philosophy has been that people matter most. It's not just a slogan, it's not just a campaign theme. It is how we feel, how we govern. People matter most. And you will see that the decisions that we take, the things that we do, whether it is assisting young people with education, getting scholarships or government assistance to them, engaging in the promotion of young people, getting young people into positions, the social safety nets that we have put in to help people, assistance, for example, with mothers or parents who have children in preschool and can't afford. We have come to assist them, providing quality housing for people all across this island. Rices, Maddens, Newcastle, Hamilton, Craddock Road, Cherry Garden, you name it. We have come forward, we have stepped up where it matters to benefit people. And that has been the hallmark of our tenure and our administration. That is why when we stand up and we say Nevisians need a fair share of the resources of the country, it is part and parcel of us standing up for people, having people at the epicenter of everything that we do. And so this is not out of the ordinary. This is what we have founded on. This is what has been the lifeblood of this party. This is what has motivated us over the years, is to ensure that our people are given the opportunities. And that is why you don't hear us cussing our young people. You don't hear us telling our young people that they must go practice, learn how to drive. You don't tell them, I'm not going to give you any road to do because the road going to mash up. You know, you don't say the young doctors up at the hospital don't know what they're doing. And when you go, them trying to teach, they're trying to treat you by using Google. We don't engage in that. We don't go and lambaste young principals to give them an opportunity to lead schools. We don't go and lambaste young people in the cabinet. That is not the CCM way. The CCM way is to uplift our people, young, old, and in between. Uplift our people, because if you have a government in Nevis that is not willing to uplift Nevisians, then what is the point of the government? If you have a government in Nevis that's only going to tell you that you're second class, you must go sit down in the back of the bus, what is the point? And that is why when we talk about fair share, we can talk about it because it is part and parcel of looking out for the people of Nevis. That for us is important. Let's go back to the phones. 20 past the hour of 9 o'clock. Caller, please call back in. Have we missed that caller? Caller, please call back in. The numbers again, 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. Those are the numbers to call. We have about 40 minutes left in the show, so we're hoping that people would use the opportunity to call in, be a part of the show, let your voice be heard, share your views, whatever those views may be. I would love if you agree with me, but if you don't agree with me, that's okay. You can disagree, but do not be disagreeable. Let us respect each other and continue with the cause. So let's go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Yes, Premier Brantley. We got two more topics for touch with you. So let me touch this one here. Me hear one little clip that the constituency of the leader of the opposition and Suzuki, and somebody asked some question, well, like, what you do for the constituency? And you say, well, the constituency today decide, me want one part of the government. You remember the town hall meeting there?
Yes, I remember the town hall very well, yes.
Right. So, the question that I go ask now, forgive me the correct figures, but just give me an average of how much voters in the area there.
Oh boy, that's a tough question you're asking me. In that area, I think they have just over 3,000, thereabouts.
Okay.
If memory serves.
That's good. Me know on the exact.
Yeah, I think it's just about 3,000. Yeah.
Right. How much the leader? How much the NRP may win by?
8 votes.
8.
Yeah.
Exactly. No. So 8 votes. 8 votes. Do the decider, right? So then, if you got like 3,000, you still got 1,500. So the whole point about it, you still got it balance. It's still balanced. 8 votes can 8 votes not too much. I don't even feel like 100. So it's still balanced. It's still balanced. So then you go why you go suffer now? One whole 1,000 individuals just for 8 votes.
So I think maybe my comment was misunderstood, caller. Because believe me when I tell you that St. James is near and dear to my heart, it is near and dear to the hearts, and we still see St. James as CCM country, and we will never abandon St. James. The point that I was seeking to make is that the people of St. James have been with CCM and have been in government with CCM almost from the inception, from 1992, when CCM got into government in the first time. St. James was in cabinet. Yeah. And that continued even when CCM lost the government in 2006. St. James continued to be in the CCM column. 2022, clearly St. James decided, whether you say by 8 votes or by 1 vote, that they were changing direction and going in the NRP column. And so the point that I was seeking to make to the person who asked the question, I was saying, look around St. James. St. James under Alexis Jeffers had the most development of any of the constituencies on the island of Nevis. I'm saying it because the evidence is on the ground to support it. And if you turn your back on that and you come to a town hall to ask me now, well, what happened to St. James? Well, I have to ask the St. James people, well, why you all turn your back on all of that you were getting, the development, you were getting the progress that you were seeing in your constituency? You throw out a man who was delivering, and you bring in somebody who can't deliver anything?
Yeah, but that's only 8. Only 8. You just
Man, you say it could be one. The broader point I'm making is, you know, some people are run from good treatment.
Yeah, but only 8. Only 8 in the only 8.
You say only 8? No, man, is that only 8 that run.
No. Come on now. Come on now. So you might have to go back. But okay, you explain maybe your explanation tonight a little bit different to say come on,
No, well, you heard what you heard, a clip, or you heard the program? Because that's important, you know, because you got some fellas around here like to snatch a little piece.
No, they're not doctor.
Well, I mean, I said the doctor. But they like to snatch a little piece without playing the whole thing. Because when you play the whole thing, you get the context. Because the point that I was making to the people at that town hall, and it was a town hall right in St. James, I said, listen, you are the man who was delivering. Let me tell you, when you talk about St. James, you had the Shaw's Road done. Out there like a highway now.
Explain and let me come back.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Shaw's Road done up there like a highway. You had housing in Newcastle. Madden's is now the largest and some may argue the most beautiful housing development in all of Nevis. Madden's. You had the water taxi facility. You had, in terms of private sector development, Apsaras over there in St. James. You had the Newcastle Police and Fire Station. All of these in St. James. You have the Island Main Road, St. James. And all of them have something in common. They were done by Alexis Jeffers. Oh Lord, how could I forget Butler's Road? Butler's Road. A man who got into office in 2013, in 12 years. He did all of those projects and delivered all of those things. It is the constituency that progressed the most in terms of physical development on the island during that period. So that's the point that I wanted to make, caller, and that I hope the people understand was being made. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Hi, Mark. Good evening. How are you doing?
My brother, I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I did not tune in from the beginning because I know the culture, so I said maybe on radio probably having some sort of show this evening. So it's until a friend called me from overseas and said, you're on.
Yes,
that just a little after 9.
Yes.
So I would have missed over an hour. So I'm not too sure exactly what you put on the table, or is just, you know, there's any specific topic, or you know, the floor is just open.
The floor is always open on the show. So go ahead.
Okay. Well, first of all, let me commend you, or whoever was who were involved in bringing the gentleman on that program a few weeks ago. I mean, no amount of praise, I can tell you. No amount of praise. I mean, the country, the nation, and outside, because, you know, many persons outside listen to this particular program. And that was a tremendous program. I decided I will just, you know, listen. I wanted to make my little input, because when it comes to anything to do with health care and those things, you know, very, very, very important to me. And that is something that I'm very disappointed, especially at the federal level in terms of health care. I will touch on a few matters for the little time I might have. But, so, and I also very happy and to commend whoever made the decision to rebroadcast, and even if he rebroadcast at another time, because you would have mentioned in reference to the lady who wanted an appointment the next day, because she would not have heard the program that night. And maybe what could have happened, that maybe during the program, someone should have probably announced that it is a rebroadcast, whether it's maybe every half an hour, every hour, before and after the program. Because, even when I was listening the rebroadcast, and it's afterward I started to hear certain things, and I said, oh, it's the same program, because I wondered if there was another program, because the first one was so excellent, man. Great. And this is what is important for any government to bring to the country. Healthcare, sports, excellent combination. But let me ask a question before getting to, certain matters. In reference to the shows, because I think, me really the big cultural or carnival person, my thing is sports. But there are people who would have mentioned, who follow, especially who live overseas, in terms of the shows, and in the past would have watched or view or whatever the program, the shows, without any cost. But I understand they have to pay a cost. So is this change is correct in terms of they have to pay, and is there a reason why is that change?
Yes, yes, Carl. I think that we introduced a pay-per-view. That is not new. We have done that in years gone by as well. And the idea really is to try to defray some of the cost of these shows. Culturama is a very expensive undertaking. It costs us millions of dollars to stage Culturama each year. And when you stream the shows, it costs you money to do the streaming as well. So part of the problem that they were struggling with is they say, listen, if people can stay home and watch a show for free, stay in their living room and put on the TV and watch a show for free, then how does that benefit in terms of, one, getting people to come out, and two, getting much needed revenue to help to defray the cost of Culturama? People overseas, that I could understand that argument, but people here at home, if they can get the live streaming. So it is for that reason, even sometimes I think in the past where they have streamed cricket, you realize that they would not have it live on ZIZ because they want people to come to the stadium. Mm-hmm. So it's really that kind of analysis. I know some people don't want to pay. They think that it should be free. But then the costs, I mean, just this year you have a lot of the bandmen and making noise saying they ain't get their money on time. They want to be paid this amount. That is the reality. People now want their money. They want to be paid, and the government has to find a way to satisfy the commitments, financial commitments to stage Culturama. So it is not unusual to ask people to pay a small fee to have access to the show. If they came to the venue, they'd have to pay to come in, right? So if they stay at home, they should get it for free. So that really is the kind of debate that's going on. But that is not something new. I believe that we have had pay-per-view in the past as well.
Okay. Well, you would have explained. I know that there are, many persons who would agree, and some perhaps will not agree. Some would understand, as you would have explained, in reference to the cost by the Culturama committee. So you're trying to cut down on the cost. You will still perhaps never get enough to cut down the cost, but at least, as I said, every little, counts. So I understand what you're saying, but on the other hand, there are some people who, as you rightfully say, who would prefer not to pay, because they will say, well, they look at the shows maybe in Antigua or Barbados or, other places, and they don't pay. I guess maybe those government maybe could argue that they have maybe more resources, and they allocate more in terms of for the culture, in those countries, because it's kind of advertising in a sense.
Well, it is. But let me ask you the question: if you're in St. Kitts, yeah, mm-hmm. and you decide, man, let me go down to the Culturama complex. Let me go over and patronize, right? Mm-hmm. Your neighbor decide, me ain't going away. But you pay $30, $40 to go into the city show, and your neighbor stay home and see the same show for free.
Yeah, well, when you go inside also, at least you're getting an opportunity to, mix and mingle and because it's totally different when you're at a show than you're at home. Because when you're at the show, one of the very, very important thing and benefit which many persons may not understand, when you socialize, is very, very important in terms of the benefit to your health, right? Mm-hmm. When you socialize, you are going to do also something that is very important, which is laughter. And that is one of the only medication that has no price and no side effect. Very, very, very beneficial. So socializing, is very, very important. And that is one of the things when you enter, whether it's a show, an event, that would bring that sort of health benefit that many persons not even aware of. Very, 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 very important, So, but, I mean, that is the reality. Government make decisions and it may be sometimes popular, unpopular. Because when it comes to the cost, people have to spend or people have to pay. Sometimes people understand as well as sometimes it's not as good as for some people. Because some people may choose to stay home because they don't have the revenue, not even to look after themselves, much more to talk about having to pay to go and look at a show. So, it will be a win, in some way or the other, but government have to make decisions, and sometimes it's going to happen not to be the best decision for some, and then for others, they wouldn't mind because they can afford, and that's not really a problem to them. But I'll just deal with a couple things quickly. I would ask
very quick, because you've been on for a little while, so if you can wrap up, I'll appreciate it. Yes, please. Uh-huh.
I would ask you the question: if you have to go to England, what's the time in terms of flying to England?
It's usually about 8 hours.
8 hours, right? Well, it happened at the music festival, which I understand were allocated because something when it comes to smoking, it is something that I cannot tolerate and I do not support at all because smoking has no benefit at all, right? And I am very disappointed to see that a government, especially a prime minister who is supposed to be a doctor, supported some kind of arrangement in a music festival for people to smoke. Where all these people going to a music festival to smoke. And many people continue to complain because they pay to come to an event where they do not expect to be disturbed by smoke and all of these things. People may have the asthma and different things. And these people have no behavior. No behavior. And when a government is going to endorse giving these people, because that's why I asked you the question, but if they have to travel, because they might say, well, they have to smoke when they come to the event. But if they have to travel, they're going to have to smoke on the plane. They have to wait, either do it before they go on the plane or after they come off the plane. So I really do not understand where a government is going to allocate. I really wanted to touch on this in terms of the music festival period. That done gone, but the smoking still continue, which I have a serious problem with these people and the behavior around the streets of Bastille, and I understand it happening in Charlestown. When they have the right to do whatever foolishness and nonsense what they want to do, we ain't going to tell them how to live and what to do, but your right to smoke should not, disturb my right to be in the public, whether to walk down 4th Street, Central Street, whatever. This thing is a very, very serious matter. It is causing a lot of serious problem to many, many citizens, especially a lot of people who have health problems. What the government is doing to protect our people, I don't mind these guys doing the foolishness and the nonsense. That is their business, right? But what I am very concerned and very upset about when they come in the public, why you have to go on 4th Street to smoke?
Okay, call. I think we get the point. Some people are trying to get in, so I'm sorry. I don't like to cut people, but you know, if you can understand, because you've had a run for about 20 minutes.
Yeah. I will try and come back. If I get back in.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Right. Take care.
Ladies and gentlemen, you listen to On the Mark. I'm your host, Mark Brantley, and we have about 20 minutes left. The numbers are 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. Just received the message that the DC Pulmonary Medicine team, that is Dr. George and his team, will be back in Nevis. Good news. They'll be back in Nevis on August 27th and depart August 30th. They will conduct clinics on August 28th and 29th. This will be mostly follow-up clinics. Dr. George would like to give the people of Nevis an update on his work, and so we may be able to have him back on the show. We'll see how that goes. And so Dr. George is coming back. I think that's very good news that he will be back here on August 27th and depart on August 30th. So please reach out, those of you who may have pulmonary issues. He's a pulmonologist. This is part of the effort that is being made by the Nevis Island Administration in partnership with Ursula Phillip and the DC Pulmonary Medicine team to offer free pulmonology care to the people of Nevis. And so, pulmonary care, I'm sorry, my language is all over the place tonight, to the people of Nevis. And so we urge you to pay attention, because August 27th to August 30th, they'll be back here. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Yes, Premier Brantley.
Yes.
Me go touch now na the federal parliament. Me listen to the federal parliament when the salary increase.
Yes.
And you know, well, you support, but you say you know me get enough information. But at the same then the mover come back now with some information. Okay, let me say I'm convinced me that come back with some to say where he get information and then from. Then one source of the information was the St. Kitts and Nevis Labor Union. You remember that?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. The question I go ask you, the labor union over for Nevis, is active?
No, there's no union on Nevis. No labor union. The only union we have here, I think we have a teachers union.
Okay, so then the source then only benefit Nevis then, right?
No.
All right. Okay, good. That's all we want for now. Next thing, the cost of living for Nevis and the cost of living for St. Kitts, even.
What do you mean? What are you saying? You mean the cost of living, is it the same?
Yes, it's even.
I don't think so. I think the cost of living in Nevis is a little higher.
Exactly. That at the time. Look, your answer perfect tonight. Exactly. So then, what me say now, well, me not know your position, but if me know your position, me think me to argue different. You know, because the wage salary over there and over here are going to be the same, ain't it?
The minimum wage, yes.
Exactly. But then, once somebody got on higher, and once so then and therefore now, in a benefit division like how we benefit citizen, ain't it?
Well, that's an argument that can be made if the premise that we are operating on, that the cost of living is a little higher in Nevis, is accurate.
Okay, so that and then me ask. Okay, let me leave it there, and then come in and prepare for you too much tonight. So we'll come back next week.
All right, brother. Well, thanks for the calls. I appreciate it.
Okay, no problem.
All right, good. Have a good night. We have 15 minutes left when we're taking your calls. 869-469-1616. 869-469-1700. Just to remind you that the long jam for Culturama is well and truly on. Small Axe Band will be coming from Gingerland to town, and Gabriella's is doing her thing again this year. She says, once you've been in a Gabriella troupe before, just wear anything. It's vintage. and $80 gets you all the drinks that you need. So check them out. And, of course, look out for my dear friend there, Gabriella. She's going to have a big troop coming down the road. And then the man X-Ray says he's having a big troop as well in Charlestown. In fact, he's going to have parties there. It's going to be really interesting in terms of what X-Ray is doing and bringing. So a lot is happening here. If you want to be a part of Gabriella's, call them, please. Let me get the number here for you. 660-1836 or 669-7248. Let's go back to the phones and take some more calls. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Good evening, Honorable Mac. I wasn't looking out for you to do the show tonight.
Yes, when I'm back. Yes.
As it's called Sarama, I was surprised when I watched my TV and I saw you. You know what I would like Nevis to do for Culturama? It gets somebody to get a horse race track in Nevis for Culturama, and I think that will do well in Nevis because y'all was a part of doing horse race long time, and I think y'all need to work on some investors to create a horse track in Nevis because I think it did one, they make us some horse race, and it down there must have got bush in it.
It was a beautiful track too, you know. It was a very nice track.
And I think you all need to, and I think that will boost with the Culturama, bringing people from St. Thomas and St. Croix and them places. Like Tatola right now have a problem, don't have one. And they are fighting to talk about horse race. No horse race this year, you know, because of problem with the land and issue, thing like that. Well, last year I enjoy the grease pole.
Yes.
And the swimming. I enjoyed that last year and the Calypso show. And the band that y'all invited, we had from Bermuda.
Oh yeah. They yes. What they call them again? I forget now. They look something like a masquerade. They call them Gumbe dancers. Yes.
Yes, it was really nice, and also the youngsters playing steel band, and I think that steel band need to be pushed more because that's where I think it's used to have years go by.
But we have a lot of steel band in Nevis now, you know. A lot. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you know, but during Panorama for Carnival in St. Kitts, most of the bands in Panorama are from Nevis.
Okay, that's good because what I said, it was so nice seeing the young folks. So they didn't want to play steel band that night when I was there watching them. It was really nice last year. I enjoyed myself for Culturama. And I plan to come up there for Culturama. But definitely I would like to see y'all look into have an investor to create a horse track up there. Because I know y'all have a lot of land up there. Then we don't have no land down here because most of the land down here owned by the people, so that's the problem down here. But I know y'all could do that, which I always tell you. Y'all have to think young, not old. so I'll get you up here. I mean, nice to see you on, but I was looking for you tonight to be on the show.
Hi, brother. Well, I'm here.
I was so nice to see you jamming last year too, you know. You need that talent, I got it.
All right, brother. Yes, man. We have 10 minutes left. All right. Thanks for the call. We're taking your calls, and calls are coming in from all over. That's our dear friend there from BVI. He usually calls in, and we're grateful to him for that. And we have 10 minutes left, so we can certainly take a few more calls. Let's go back to the phones now and say, good evening, you're on the mark. We have that caller. I think we have somebody holding. Let's try this caller, see if that we can get this one. Hello, good evening, you're on the mark. Hello? Caller, good evening.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Brantley. How are you doing?
Yes, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Mr. Brantley, this is Stocky, and once again, that is that time of year again for NEVDC's annual dinner banquet. year it will be our 20th anniversary.
Wow.
And we are looking forward to seeing a bumper crop. This year less traditionally, we'll be honoring the original founders of NFDC. The theme for this year is bridging the gap, creating impact, influence, and legacies. And the location will be the same place at Martin's Crossland in Greenbelt, Maryland. Entertainment will be by the Image Band. There'll be raffle prizes, and we'll have some entertainment from Nevis. It's not settled yet, but we'll have more than one entertainment act from Nevis coming up. So that's so great. And also, of course, it's not just a day. It's not just a Saturday night. It's a weekend affair, because on the Sunday we have our much talked about brunch starting at 12. So I lead that in to say this year there's a slight not so generous increase in the fare. In the entrance fee, it's $120, but that's just the early bird. After September 7th, it goes to $130.
So you could lift your voice a bit. You're dropping your voice a little. So you said it looked like when you started to talk about money, you started to whisper. Tell the people how much you charge. $120, you say?
$120, but that's just the early bird,
yes.
And $130 after September 7th.
Okay.
March that day. Tickets can be purchased at nevdc.org online. Yeah, and again, it's not just a night; it's a weekend.
Right. I want you to explain that part, so people understand that when they buy the ticket, it's not just for the event that night.
Right. It's for that event that night, and the following day there's always a brunch.
A brunch, okay.
Brunch starts at 12 p.m. and it goes until the New York folks leave, pretty much. And the good thing is this year, last two or 3 years, we've only been able to have it earlier in the year. So we usually miss those people who wanted to stay home for Independence. Well, now it's back to the 27th, late September.
Good.
People who usually stayed home for Independence come on up and have a great time with us. There are rooms blocked out in the Holiday Inn. You can look for Holiday Inn Greenbelt. The room blocked out until September 8th.
Okay.
And I think the price is $120 a night.
Prices have what you said?
The price for the hotel
is how much?
Blackout rooms. Yeah. There's so many numbers running through my head. I could be wrong.
Okay.
But there's a preferential
rate
pricing for us.
All right. So just to recap for me, when is the big event?
Big event is September 27th. Saturday, September
27th. And the early bird is $120 US.
$120 until September 7th. After then, it goes to $130.
Okay, and the price gets you not only the event on the 27th, that's the gala celebrating 20 years, but a brunch the following day as well.
Brunch the following day, and I can tell you, so many times when we look at the numbers, we have more people coming to the brunch than come to the event.
Okay.
That's a popular event. Always, the brunch is always popular because it goes all day, and you see so many people who you might not see in the evening. You'll see them at the brunch.
Okay.
So it's becoming. Everybody knows it's becoming quite a popular event. So come on out, and we look forward. Just bring the family to DC for the weekend.
Well, I'm glad to hear, because the timing of it was difficult for some of us who, we have duties for independence. I think the timing now on the 27th is useful. You also likely to have people at the UN who may be able to pop over to DC. Around that time, the UN tends to be meeting for the General Assembly. So I think all in all, that date is an excellent date. And so we'll see how that goes. But I want to wish NEVDC all the best, Stocky. I think you guys have done tremendous work and continue to do tremendous work. And to celebrate 20 years is a phenomenal achievement. So congratulations to all.
Thank you very much. And I must say that one of our main events in Nevis this year, we just recently awarded a child from each of the elementary schools, the public elementary schools in Nevis, for the Joycelyn Library primary school. We awarded the best performing student, I think graduate from sixth grade. For all the other schools, we awarded a gift prize to the best, most improved student between 5th and 6th grade. And I'm giddy. I'm just giddy at the thought that some of those students who might have been the most improved student between 5th and 6th grade could go on and be the best performing student when they leave 6th grade. You know? So don't be surprised.
All right.
That's our aim, is to see that these students who just improve from wherever they improve from. They could be improved from number 10 to number 4, number 25 to number 15. But in subsequent years, the improvement will continue because they have gotten that bug for learning.
Good.
So that's our aim.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, thank you again and all the very best. We'll take another call here. I think we have somebody who's been holding. No? Okay. Thought it was flashing, but all right, maybe I'm incorrect in that. The numbers again are 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. If there's anybody out there who may want to be our final caller for this evening, we have about 3 or 4 minutes. We could probably take that call. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to thank everyone who has called and taken the time out. I want to congratulate again Stocky and the entire crew there in DC for the excellent work that they're doing. Let me take this final call. Good evening, you're on the mark.
My sheriff, I went to Rodney and I get a bag of water.
Well, that's why by the time I reach, me not get none. Can you take all?
No, I want to tell Rodney they had the long jam. It's in near Houghton, so I think if she do it, come down to Charleston, she pain will go away.
So you wanted to do the long jump?
Yeah, I want you to do the long jump. She put up she, I think the pain
will
go away.
Okay. I hear you.
All right.
But I believe you're giving bad advice, but I hear you. Woman tell you she need hot and you're telling the woman go do long jump. What kind of thing is that? Anyway.
He put on get healed.
You'll get healed. All right. Okay. Thank you very much for that. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to thank everyone. I was saying that, Stocky Fitzroy Williams from Brownhill and the entire team there at NEVDC, my good partner, China, folks who have really, really contributed significantly and continue to contribute, who are in the diaspora but have never forgotten Nevis. I'm very happy that we have organizations like this. This one is going for 20 years now. We have Hearts and Hands in Nevis. We have the organization in South Florida. We have NEFCAN, an organization like that in Canada. We have them all across the U.S. and the UK and Canada. And they've continued to contribute in significant ways. I just want to publicly thank them. 20 years is a tremendous, tremendous achievement. And congratulations, NEVDC. I want to thank all who called in this evening and who are part of the show, the various callers, the various issues. I apologize. Some people didn't seem to know the show would be on. But you know that I like to spend my Wednesday evening here on the Mark at Von Radio with the people, because that is what I have been doing for the last 20 years, and that's what I continue to do. So thank you for all who tuned in, all who have been a part of this show. I'm truly, truly grateful to you. And let us continue to debate, discuss, but let us have in that debate and discussion the objective to uplift Nevis and uplift St. Kitts and Nevis. The banner struck up, it means we have to go. This show is rebroadcast tomorrow at 1 p.m. right here on Von Radio, the Eastern Caribbean's only powerhouse. Thank you, good night, and God bless you.
views and opinions expressed on the preceding program were solely those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Nevis Broadcasting Company Limited or its advertisers.
With all the power from the tower,